Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yo, what's cracking?
Thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me. How are all of you doing? What's up?
Great. Just a little busy with like finals coming up, but other than that.
Oh, damn. That's never fun.
So we're just waiting for a member, but if not, we'll just have her pop in.
All good, all good. What's up, Wanda?
Hi, it's been a long time since I've seen you.
It has been. It's been a minute. What? Since the last time I saw you was February of 2020?
Yeah, for like the Monster X party. I think that was the last one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been a long time. The world's a little crazy right now, but
Yeah.
we'll be all right.
And I was like looking forward to like going for more meetups.
Oh man.
But
so many things we had planned for 2020 that got canceled, which is so ridiculous. Concerts, we had summer shows lined up. Obviously, like Poptopia, the lineup was crazy. And oh man, y'all wouldn't even believe me if I will. You probably would believe me because of the history of the station and their lineups and stuff. I'm just happy to be at this station because the lineups are fire. Not that the other lineups I see and everything aren't good artists. It's just that, you know, usually 99.7 just does a whole bunch of extra, you know. So,
yeah. Oh. So yeah, so I guess we should just kind of start.
Yeah, she can just pop in.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
all good. It's all good.
So,
it's cracking, Emma.
Sorry?
I just said what's up.
Sorry. No, my internet was freezing. I was trying to turn my name. I was like, oh my gosh. No, I'm good. How about you?
I'm all right. I'm chilling. You know, got this bright light in my face, but other than that, I'm all right. I'm about to go find. Have you guys seen that bear online, bear son that's walking from LA to San Francisco?
Yeah,
I haven't.
So there's this guy. His name is Jesse. He's walking from LA to San Francisco in a bear suit. And
oh my god,
I've been talking to him for the past few days, and he's in like. Yesterday he was in Gilroy, San Martin, Morgan Hill. I think now he's finally in San Jose. So I'm about to go find him in a little bit after this is over.
That's awesome. Give
Well,
updates.
Yeah.
So
all right.
The first question we're gonna ask you is regarding your career. Like, what led you to pursue a career in radio?
I didn't look at the questions early because I didn't want to like prepare for it because I feel weird. Like I feel like it's hella like rehearsed and everything. But you know, I always want to be on the radio. I listen to a lot of the people who I get to work. Well, Straw's not in the Bay anymore, but I listen to a lot of the people who were at the station I was getting ready to go to growing up. So it's like it's always been something I wanted to do. So I'm a little older. So I've already hit that 30 threshold. So we like back in the day it was cassette tapes and you could put little pieces of paper in the back of the cassette tapes and you could record over them. Like I would listen to the radio, I'm like, okay, that's what he did, people like St. John, and then I would go back and try and do it myself and introduce the songs and fade in and different things like that. So it's always been something that I really wanted to do, and not until I found like a community college program did I get a chance to like really get into it, because you know I grew up a little different in foster care and stuff, so a lot of moving around, nothing was really stable. So you never really had a chance to like really get in tune with wherever you're at and find different things to do and everything. So it was a little different, but yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do. And I finally got a chance to do it when I got to Chabot. So that was pretty awesome.
That's cool. Emma?
Yes, thank you. Also, I do apologize in advance for the background noise. My family's a little chaotic today. But as a K-pop fan, because I know that I heard you were also a K-pop fan, as a fellow K-pop fan, I was curious in knowing, and we all were actually, as K-pop has experienced a surge in popularity around the world, what was the process of getting K-pop tracks to be played along with the mainstream?
I mean, initially it was something that was really different for top 40, for radio in general. Not a lot of people were really, you know, playing artists, even like a group as big as BTS is now, or how big Blackpink is now. But as the world was changing and more music was being introduced and social media gave people a chance to see everything visually, I feel like that gave a little push to it. And then you had to find different people, like personalities. I don't want to credit myself too much because there's other people across the country that do it as well, that really took the time to really like focus and figure out who these groups are and who these artists are. And we had like a nice little surge of supporting K-pop artists over the last couple of years. And I enjoy the music. I don't understand anything, but the vibes are dope. The music is great. The choreography is fire. And you can tell that these guys and girls put a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of training and hours and hours and hours of effort into like really perfecting their craft. And you can tell that. Like I've seen a couple of groups perform that. I've seen NCT 127 perform. I've seen Monsta X do our little meetup that we did, and then I went to a Super M concert, which was crazy, which was dope. Just seeing everybody together and just seeing like not only are they doing music as a group, but they're also doing it individually, was super dope. So it just took a while for people to get the hang of it, understand what's going on, and then you had to find a couple of. But I think there was like 2 or 3 of us across the country that are really pushing for like K-pop artists. Because I remember when I first came across BTS, I started playing their music and people were shocked that I was playing it. And I'll be honest with you, like I get comments from friends even now, like, yo, why are you playing that? Like, what is that? Like, what's going on? It's like, why not? It's music, you know what I mean? And it sounds good. So, I've had a chance to premiere a bunch of BTS music. I played a lot of music from different artists, and I don't know, I like it. I think that's the reason why it's happening, because there was 2 or 3 people across the country that are really pushing it. And then stations started to see how the army works and how the fandoms work and how you're going to get that interaction. You're going to get that engagement. And then, there's a lot of comments about being bot accounts and stuff like that. But there's some people who request constantly that I talk to on a regular basis. And I've noticed that they started to understand that if you talk about things that the on-air jock is talking about on the air, you're more likely to get a response and stuff like that. So they're kind of figuring out. So I think that's dope too. I hope I answered your question. I just said hella stuff. My bad.
No, you're totally okay. You're totally okay. If it's okay to diverge from the subject a little bit, do you have a favorite group?
Do I have a favorite group?
Yes.
Are you trying to get me torched on Twitter, huh? All right.
I
really like BTS.
I
I really like BTS a lot, and I've had a chance to listen to a lot of their music. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure Wanda's heard about us doing this, but when they dropped one of their albums like 2 years ago, we had fans in the studio at 2:00 in the morning premiering the entire album on the radio. No other station in the US has ever done that. You know what I mean? And I've premiered basically every single one of their songs, not every song that's on the albums, but like every one of their singles for like the last 4.5, 5 years. So them, I think they're really, there's a lot of groups that are dope, but I would have to pick BTS. I have a BTS calendar. I have a wand. I have a big one and a little one, and I also have a little one for NCT 127 because of Wanda. So,
yay!
That's awesome. Yeah, kind of going off of not so much K-pop, but what is like? I'm not super familiar with kind of the whole format of being a radio host and picking songs and stuff. So, what really goes into the process of choosing to play a certain song on the radio? Or just a band in general? Like, do you have to go through certain like levels to do that? Like, what's that process look like?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways. So we have a program director and a music director in the station that primarily picks the majority of the music that we play on the air. The dope part about my boss, his name is Jazzy, who's a program director for 99.7. He really enjoys input. He really wants to know what we think is dope and what we really like. And if you listen to, like, if you were to listen to 99.7 throughout the day, of course, you're going to hear some of the same songs. You're going to hear Doja Cat Say So. It's going to drive you crazy. You're going to hear a lot of these different songs because the way radio is set up. But if you listen to the different shows, you can tell based on the show and who's on there, who picked what song. So you can kind of tell like, okay, well, he probably said that he really wanted to listen to that. And then, they wanted this or they wanted that. So it's pretty cool. So he has a set songs that he plays and stuff that he likes. And then every week I send an email with a list of different songs and different groups and different artists that I really like, and he takes those into account as well. And then there's other things that go into it, like, they check the Shazams, like how many times is somebody in San Jose Shazamming BTS Dynamite? Okay, that means that they want to hear it more, they enjoy it, they're trying to figure out their song, they're trying to learn about it. Or, what the YouTube numbers look like, how many streams on Spotify. and Apple Music, like what are the numbers looking like? So a lot of that stuff gets taken into account as well. And then also like we look at the people requesting. So when people are requesting songs online, we're not ignoring them. At least we're not. We try to engage with as many people as possible. That's like my biggest thing being on the air is like I try and respond to everybody, unless because sometimes people everybody want to be so disappointed every time. Like I'll be like, yo, I'm about to play like. I don't want to say, like, sometimes I'll be like, yo, I'm about to play BTS. And they'll be like, okay, thank you for playing it 2 times. Now, can you play it 4 times? Like, it's like, fam, chill. It's like, like I hope I can, but yeah, there's different factors, like a lot of numbers that goes into it. But then I get a chance to pick different artists I want to play as well, too.
Gotcha. So you do have a little bit more like freedom. It's not a super kind of set schedule sort of thing.
At this station, yeah. And I've heard stories from other people at other stations where, everything's set straight where it is. The program director is going to give you what they want. And if you don't like it, whatever, who cares?
Right.
But our boss is really lenient. He's really open to hearing me because he wants to know what everybody's listening to. And like, I'm on Twitter and social media all day. So I'm seeing the constant requests and paying attention to different groups that are coming up and stuff like that. Like recently, there was a group, Boys World. It's a new girl group. They're really dope. They're really sweet. And I seen them online making TikToks and stuff like that. And they dropped a song. And I was like, you know what? They're dope. Like, let's support them. Let's show them love. Like us playing their song on the radio isn't changing their life, but it's making other stations look at them, you know what I mean? So we played their song, which one was it? It was Girlfriends. And next, 40 stations across the country, and next day it's playing their song. So it's just, seeing stuff like that happen is dope. So yeah.
Awesome. Again, and then, no, it's super interesting. I love to hear it. Kind of more of a broad thing, but what would you say is your like favorite aspect or just like an all around idea of like what your favorite thing is about being a radio DJ host?
I like the people that listen to the station, that care about what I do on the air. People like Wanda. I'm not sure if you guys listen too, but I've had experience being around her and stuff. But it's like we jump on the air every day, and we may be having like a crappy day. Like there's like last week I had the worst week ever, and nothing happened. It's just sometimes with this pandemic sucks. So we've gotten to a point to where it's like, damn, like I'm super positive on the air all the time. But last week I just hit a point where it's like, you know what? I'm cool. I'm chilling. I didn't want to be on the air last week. So, when you have people like Wanda and different people who listen to the station consistently and they interact with you and, liking a post or just, acknowledging that you exist, because there's a million other things people could be doing at home. And me being a night show host, it's really hard during the pandemic because everybody was going home. And you got Netflix, you got people on TikTok, everyone's making videos, listening to podcasts, which is dope. Congrats on your podcast. And different things like that. So it makes it extremely difficult. So it's the people. Like when we do the meetups, when we get to hang out before COVID and after COVID, of course, doing our meetups and stuff like that and being around them and seeing them excited about things and knowing that, I have a listener. She's pretty young. She's been listening to me for a few years now. And I remember we did an event in March. It was a certain concert. I don't want to get too into detail, but I knew that she was having a hard time and everything like that. And the fact that I can, give her some floor seats to the show, and she didn't have tickets to go, she just show up to the meetup, and change her whole day and maybe change her week and make her feel good. That's a dope thing to me. So it's the listeners. That's my favorite part about it. And then I also like, getting to meet people,
Yeah.
Getting to meet random artists is kind of cool at the same time. Also intimidating, but it's cool.
So you like more of the kind of like interaction in person stuff rather than the behind the scenes kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm. And it's weird because like every day, like when I'm not on the air or if I'm not doing an event, I really don't like to like talk that much. Like I really kind of stay to myself. Like I'm really introvert. Like I'm really out the way. But like once like it's weird because people at the station, like sometimes I'll be walking through the hallway and they may think I'm depressed or something's wrong with me. And I always get this thing, like people think I'm mad because my eyebrows are hella crazy. So I always look like I'm angry. So that's why I got them covered. But, they'll see that. And then like, we'll walk into our performance lounge and there's a performance getting ready to happen. Next thing you know, it's like, boom, lively, full of energy. Yeah, we're here to party. And they're like, yo, what just happened? You know what I mean? So it's a little weird. Yeah. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I like the interaction with the listeners.
Yeah, totally.
I guess this kind of goes with a little bit of what you touched upon, but like as a local station host, like how have you been able to stay connected and engage with the local community and the listeners during the pandemic?
Hmm. I think it's because the relationships that we established before the pandemic. Like I was saying, like when people tweet me, I try to reply all the time, or I try to at least like the tweet to acknowledge I see it. If they slide in my DMs, I'm trying to reply. If they reach out to me for anything, like like I respond, and I think people like that. I think some radio personalities, especially in our market in this area, gotten to the point to where they think that they're celebrities. Now, among some people, they might think that, oh, you're, a local this and that, blah, blah. That's cool. That's great. Thank you. You make me feel special. But I'm not at any point. I don't really feel like anybody is, unless you're like The Weeknd, who gets like a million mentions every day, or BTS, who can't reply to everything. I don't think anybody in this area is at that point to where they can't respond to a tweet like, yo, hey, I hope you're having a good day. I was wondering if you could play this. Respond, just say hi, respond back. So I think that before the pandemic kicked off, me focusing on making sure I'm in tune with my listeners. We got all those Hype Squad group chats, you know what I mean? So there's like 5 or 6 group chats of like 15 people in there. They don't talk as much as they used to because obviously the pandemic slowly, has done its thing. But, there's a couple of group chats I'm a part of, and I stay in contact with everybody. People have reached out to me. They've had hard times during the pandemic. We've had to do some food drop-offs and stuff like that. And they kind of get at me because like right now it's like National Volunteer Week, and they're like, you got to post about it. It's like, why do I want to post about this stuff? I don't want to post about that. I genuinely be trying to help people. So I think that's the best way to stay and, to keep connected. And it's dope because, me at night, I'm live on the radio every single night. I got competition who's not even in the Bay Area on the radio at night. Like they don't even live here. They live like in SoCal and they're doing shows and stuff like that. So they don't really have that local touch, that local appeal. In smaller markets, you have to deal with that too. So if you're like in Central Cali, or if you're like in somewhere in the middle of the country, those stations are usually voice tracked with people from across the country doing like 15 stations. So you don't get that feel. So again, like it's mainly like communicating with people, talking to them, staying in contact and just, interacting with them, going down your feed of people you follow and liking their posts, sliding in someone's DMs like, hey, yo, I got I got this, you want it, you know what I mean? Or hooking them up with random things. Or before the pandemic, sometimes like I'll be at the studio with an artist and I know this group chat loves this artist. So I just video chat the group chat and everyone answers. Next thing you know, it's one of the guys from Why Don't We? Or it's fun. But at the same time, those relationships were established early. So it's been able to be a little bit more easy for me.
Yeah, I really
this is why I'm on the radio, y'all. I just keep talking. I won't stop unless you stop me.
We love it. It's awesome. We want to hear it more.
How like, for example, I always like when I have time, I try to tune into your ING lives, and I felt like I've learned so much about the radio through it, and I think that's just really like awesome to kind of see that behind the scenes through your ING lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are fun too. Those I kind of stopped doing them because pandemic, everybody's live. Everybody's live, and it's a lot of competition when you try to go live and a boy band goes live or girl band goes live, or Doja Cat's doing dope stuff. I think she's hilarious, by the way. It's hard now, but those are fun too because like you said, behind the scenes stuff, you get to see the contest actually happen and know that someone's actually counting to 99 and they're not just playing with you, you know what I mean? So that's always good. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of going off of sort of the theme that Wanda was having. What, like, obviously with the pandemic, lots of like there's no more in person, especially like in the very beginning. I don't know if you're back in the studio now, but what was it like really I don't know if you had to go from the studio into like your home, or like what was that transition like in order to continue your career and keep up the station and stuff?
Yeah, it was really weird because literally the week this happened, we were starting the process of moving everything out of the building we were in downtown San Francisco to our new studios in Daly City. So everything was super, super, super crazy. So basically, initially, like you start seeing different people not showing up, and then next the promo staff isn't showing up, salespeople aren't showing up. So slowly you start to see people disappear, right? And then then you weren't allowed to be in the studios until it was your time and the other person was out. So that got weird. And then eventually, since it was kind of, you know, me being out in the studio hella late at night, you know, we walked through downtown San Francisco, some creepy stuff going on. I mean, you guys have probably gone to a show or something like that before, and, you know, to see some weird people outside. So it's like, they didn't want me walking up. I could take care of myself, but they really didn't want me outside like that. So, you know, they set up like a little computer, a microphone. It was kind of janky. But, you know, the thing is, everybody and their mama had to do this at that time. So I got what was left at the end because I wanted to stay as long as I could. So then, you know, I'm in the corner in the room, you know what I mean? Like, that way it's complete dirty trash, everything's chaos over there. In this corner, it looks nice over here. So we set up. So you know, it's definitely weird. And where I live, you know, you hear cars going by and stuff like that, and everybody got these Flow Masters on their car, and it's annoying. It's annoying. It's definitely been an experience and everything. But I started recently going back to the studio every Friday. And tonight will probably be the last night that I broadcast from home. So I'll be at home tonight, and then starting tomorrow, and then Monday I'm back completely because I'm vaccinated now, so I'm good to go. And we got our new studios in Daly City, which are really nice. And when we get a chance, we'll be letting people in there. But yeah, it's definitely been an experience. It's been hard. There's been times where, you know, my internet has gone down. There's been times where I couldn't connect to our server. And this is in the middle of the show. It's like I'm going from one talk break, and next thing I'm going to another one. I got 4 minutes, and everything shut down. And then people will probably listen like, yo, what happened to Reid for the last 30 minutes? You know what I mean? So that sucks, but it's definitely been an experience.
Would you say that you had like more, did you enjoy the experience, like doing work from home, or was it just an all around, like you didn't like it, you like being in the studio better?
I enjoy being in the studio more. The work from home, obviously we had to do it because we had to be safe and everything like that. But like, it's hard to, you know, jump on the air and talk about the vibe and how everything's going tonight when obviously you're in the middle of a pandemic and people are dying. So that sucks, right? And then there's a pile of laundry in front of you. You know what I mean? It's just it's just weird, you know. It's just the element, the vibe, and everything. It's been a rough year for a lot of people with everything we got going on regarding social justice, regarding the pandemic. It's just so much. And then like you're on the air trying to tell people everything's gonna be okay, and it's like you're thinking like, damn, like okay, well now I sound a little ridiculous, like. When everything surrounding George Floyd initially happened, you know what I mean? Like I told my boss, like, yo, I'm not doing a regular show. Like it's just, it's not going to be me on the air talking like everything's fine, everything like that. I couldn't open up the phone lines I wanted to because we don't got them here, obviously. But you know, it was a lot of conversations happening, you know, so it got real different.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, so if you don't mind the topic changer, we were wondering which artist do you think that we should keep an eye on?
Right now, I really like Boys World. It's a group of girls. I talked about them a little earlier. I think they're waiting for this pandemic to be over and it's a wrap because they're all super talented. They give me like a mixture of like Spice Girls and Fifth Harmony vibes. Like if they ran into each other and just that's what you get. They're really dope. I like this guy named Blast. He's pretty fire. It's BLXST, I think. Let's see, who else? Who am I missing? I feel like I'm on this. Am I missing somebody? Who am I missing? Who do I always support on the air? I'm blanking out right now. I wish I could figure it out. There's a few artists out there, but I think like mainly right now my focus has been on Boys World. This guy Blast, I think he's dope. I think I've always liked Olivia O'Brien. I've always liked see, you guys see that airplane? It happens all the time. I'm on the air. I'm like, oh, we got Justin Bieber. It's like, oh, come on. Those are the main ones. And then you got some Bay Area artists like a rapper. His name is Simba. I think is really dope. So those are the main ones right now. Simba goes crazy. He's been a good artist for a very long time. He's been slept on for like at least the last 10 years. Totally. And he did a freestyle on a radio station called Power 106 down in LA. He did a freestyle on that station. Now everybody knows who he is. So I think that's pretty dope. So that's fire. So a lot of Bay Area. I listen to I do pop radio, but I'm really like at home listening to Bay Area music all the time. As you can see, I got this big ass Bay Area poster in here. Like, I'm not the usual 99.7 type of guy. I think people have realized that by now. Like, I'm not really like the typical person you would have on 99.7. You know, I grew up in Oakland. I've listened to hip hop my entire life, and you know, I've been adapting. So I can play Justin Bieber now too. You know.
How do you like go about finding new artists? Like, what's like your main way to search for new artists?
I'm paying attention a lot to Twitter, a lot to who's being recommended to me. I get DMs all the time from listeners about different artists, and then you know I'm on the different playlists scrolling through, and like you know those playlists, like you'll listen to one artist, and next you know like the playlist will run out, and it'll take you to another artist that you've never heard of, and then I start just following along, and if I like somebody's sound, I start paying attention to it. Then I go through the whole process of finding their Spotify or the different social media, and I put this list together, and I hit my boss the email like, "Yo, this is the next person that's gonna blow up." And you know, he knows I'm really eager and everything like that. But for like the last couple of years, like I've been kind of on point. I've called a few of them, so he's actually pretty impressed with that. So I'm proud of that. So we've been able to find some artists and you know break their music on the radio first, like you know like. Did anybody really know that Olivia Rodrigo was going to drop Driver's License and to be as big as it was?
I had no idea.
I had a chance to play. What's crazy to me is I played that song on the radio before anybody in the country did. And like nowadays with you know Spotify and all these different streaming services, it doesn't really matter as much anymore who plays it first. But you know, it's exciting.
Yeah, totally.
To know that, you know, so yeah, that's how I do that.
Actually, another question is like, who has been the most memorable artist you've interviewed?
Most memorable artist I've interviewed. It was I think memorable. Like the moment I would have to say was the interview I did with NCT 127 in the studio when they were in our building, and the reason why is because like there was so much buildup to that. And we were trying to figure out where we were going to put their big ass bus. And people were outside sleeping overnight trying to figure out if they can get in. And then there was one guy who was able to get up with security, slip his way he snuck his ass all the way into the room where we were at with him. And then our staff realized right at the last second, like, yo, you were just outside trying to get in. So they had to like get him out. So there was so much stuff going on at that moment. And then how loud everybody was. And then like, you know, when I went to go beat the guys, because we had this little area in the back where we meet the guys before, like they were all hella nice, hella chill, like messing around with stuff, like knocking stuff over. I was like, yo, these dudes are like a bunch of kids, you know what I mean? So then we went to go do the interview and everything, and the guys were really cool, and everybody was screaming. I think that was the most memorable interview for sure. Nothing else crazy has happened yet, but as soon as COVID is over, a lot of crazy stuff is going to happen. I'm going to start having like artists do challenges and stuff and all this weird stuff and race me in the back, but it's going to be funny.
Sorry to interrupt you, but just kind of going off of that, like how do you go about setting up like an interview with an artist, especially like a huge like mainstream artist that obviously has like a lot going on, like conflicts and stuff? What is that process?
Well, a lot of the time the station sets it up, like their label, they have label reps for each area of the country that reach out to the program director or music director to, you know, figure out a good time. Like, for example, they just reached out to me a couple of days ago about Sophia Carson and her new single, and we're going to do like this whole Zoom thing next week. And they'll basically find out that they want to do the interview. My boss or somebody would reach out to me like, yo, are you interested in this? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm down to do it. And I don't turn down anything. And I feel like that's the reason why I've gotten to where I've gotten is I've never said no to any interviews. There's been some interviews I never posted. Like I did one 2 weeks ago with Chanel West Coast, and she was really obnoxious. So I was like, let me not post this. So, cause I don't want to see anything negative come from me either. You know what I mean? But they'll set it up. They'll hit me up. They'll let me know. And sometimes like I'll reach out to artists myself, and I'll get their management info. Now, like for example, like Boys World, I keep going back to them. Like I saw them and I wanted to play their music, so I found out what label they were with. I found out who it was. I reached out. They were able to set it up, and we were doing IG lives and stuff like that. So sometimes, rarely it's me. Most of the time, it's the station setting it up and everything through the label.
Have you ever had like any issues like artists kind of like turning them down or being like rude about it, anything like that?
Like artists turning me down?
Like turning down interviews or I don't know, just like kind of
I mean,
like
I'm sure there's been times where, you know, there's definitely been times where interviews were supposed to happen that didn't happen at the last second. I don't know exactly why, and I don't want to like really speculate on that, but there's been a couple of times where interviews were supposed to happen, they didn't go through. You know, a lot of that was from my early days in college radio. Like there's an artist in the Bay Area who's had some success in the past couple of years that I would reach out to when I was doing college radio back in the day. And you know, he was always like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. He never came through. The first artist I ended up interviewing at 99.7 is that artist. So he really didn't have a choice at that point. And it was more of like a full circle moment for me.
yeah.
Like I could have been petty and be like, you know what, I'm not interested, and kept it moving. But I felt like it was even better to do the interview and remind him about that in the middle of it.
Totally.
So you know, there's been times where that's happened, but that doesn't really happen that much because artists, they need these interviews and everything.
Right.
A lot of
Totally.
people think that radio does. A lot of people, for some reason, think that radio doesn't matter, and it does. Like these artists aren't surviving off their Spotify streams because if you look online, like these artists are really upset with how much they get paid in regards to streams and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's sad.
All right, and then I believe that there's one more question.
Uh-oh.
If you have some advice, like, would you have any advice to someone wanting to pursue a career in radio as like a DJ or just like music industry in general?
My advice, here's the thing. It's not easy. It's definitely not. A lot of people think you jump on the radio, hit a button, talk, and then you're good to go. There's a process behind it, and the way technology has advanced over the years, it feels like I'm like discouraging everybody. The way that technology has, I just want to be honest with y'all, the way it has advanced over the years, it's made it easier for people to have multiple shows across the country. So it's hard to get on the radio now. It's extremely hard. And I'll be honest with you, like I don't think I'd be doing full-time Monday through Friday on the air in the Bay if the guy who was here before me wouldn't have decided to go to Seattle and do mornings. And that's not taking away from me or my effort or anything. It's just like, you know, you kind of got to wait your turn. So it's really hard. So my advice is that if this is something that you want to do, like really take into account that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a couple of years of struggling for you to get to where you want to go. But if you're, you know, if you're hungry and you go at it and you're focused on it and you're nice to people as you're on your way up, I think that it'll work out for anybody that really just tries. You know what I mean? It's all about effort and how much effort you really put into it. Like we can tweet that we're working hard, but are you really working hard? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like we could talk about, oh man, I'm so tired. I've been busy all week. Most of the people that tweet like that don't even be doing anything. You know what I mean? They just need, you know, some attention online. And that's cool too. We all need a hug every once in a while. But like, you know, with radio or with DJing, it takes years. It takes a lot of time. There's people that I know that haven't even, you know, gotten a chance to be on the air yet. That's been doing this for a few years. And, you know, it's frustrating. And you get discouraged and you want to quit and you don't want to be a part of it anymore. So if you're willing to take those times where you do get turned down and you're ready to put that effort in, I think that's the biggest thing I could tell somebody. It's not easy. Most people in radio that's been there longer than me would tell you not to even try anymore. You know, I'm not going to say that because I feel like, you know, people told me not to try. They told me to quit. Dude I was at Chabot with, who was in charge at the time, told me like, you know, maybe if radio's not working out, you should quit. I would listen to him, man. You know, so yeah, a lot of effort and just trying as hard as you can.
Why would you say that that they're telling you like people are discouraging joining radio?
Because of how hard it is to get a job and, you know, how much, you know, the world is changing. You know, the thing is radio isn't going to disappear anytime soon. It's still one of the highest consumed medias in the country. I think it's like 90-something%. Oh no, I'm not really good with numbers. I failed math, so I'm on the radio. So like, you know, radio is always going to be here, but there's a lot of people that understand that voice tracking is such a thing. It makes it really hard for people to get on the air. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's what I thought you have to be willing to go anywhere across the country to get your first job. Like I almost ended up in Nashville before I got the night show at 99.7. And being from the Bay and going to Nashville, that would have been a culture shock for sure. You know what I mean? So it would have been super different. So I think people are saying that because, you know, they've had it rough and it's not easy. Like you'll have a job. Like I can literally lose my job in like the next 3 days because they want to go in a different direction, especially with a night show, because of how like night shows are done across the country and how they're voice tracked and how there's people in this market already that aren't even physically here doing a show and having some kind of success. You know, and it makes you, as a radio person, it makes you reflect like, yo, what am I doing wrong? Like that they're not even here and they're being successful. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, you know, it depends on what kind of experience they had and what they're going to say to you now. They've had a good experience, like, yeah, go for it. They had a rough experience. No, don't ever do that. You know what I mean? So, you know, you have to like try it out for yourself and see if it's something that you like. And then if it's not worth it, then, you know, find something else to do. You can juggle. I can juggle.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. I bet a bunch of people are kind of wanting to get into that industry, and it's definitely like a hard path, as you've said. So I think that's super interesting. Does anybody else have any like last questions or anything that they want to say?
I think we're good. But also before we end, where can our listeners find you on social media to tune in?
Oh, find me, Big Reid Radio, REID though. Radio, Twitter, Instagram. I'm even on TikTok rarely. I'm not good at TikTok. I don't know, like I'm trying. And then 997now.com was the link for everything. But on my Instagram, you can just hit the link in the bio. Everything's right there. That's where you can find me.
And everyone should tune in to the night show.
Yeah, tonight. I mean, when you guys releasing this episode, today or tomorrow or next week?
Probably next week. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'll try to get it as soon as.
It's all good. Nah, don't worry about it. I know editing a podcast takes forever. Look, I've been talking about doing this podcast forever, Wanda. I think you know that, and I haven't posted it yet. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, this is very new to us too. So.
Yeah.
Don't get stressed out with each other if one of you can't make it to the podcast or something like that. I think that's the one thing that affects most people that do podcasts. Like, you'll have a set day, you're gonna do it, and then one person can't make it, and then like they're like, oh, we're not gonna do it till next week, and we're gonna push it off to this week. Just, you know, don't get mad at each other. It happens. Everybody has a life, you know.
Agreed.
I'm trying to tell my friends that, then they block me on Twitter, so it's cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. That was an awesome interview. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All good. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Have a good
day. Thank you. Thank you so much.